Hey everyone, so in this video I'm just going to go over the epic weapons cache and kind of going about the weapons, if I kind of like them, if I don't. So the first one that we're going to be looking at is Leopo's Sturdy Padule? So sorry, I know I'm mispronouncing that, but it's a very defensive weapon. 30% HP, 15% defense, and attack down. So when being attacked, a better chance to cause minus 45% attack for 3 turns to the enemy. Your attune will also gain plus 5% defense for every debuff on the enemy's living team. So if you're running like an RNG leader that, let's say, is Angel, you apply daze on the first turn, so that's 5 times 5, so you get a 25% defense buff to your tune. This type of weapon is kind of just to slow up the enemy's attack a bit. If you have a taunting tune that can hold this, and you're forcing the enemy to attack you consistently, they'll be attacking with maybe minus 45% attack after attacking the character that's holding this, and the attack down would also be a debuff. So you would actually be kind of cycling into your defense up. And this type of weapon I think could actually work on someone like Cameron Scar, because if you're able to get them rushing, well, they also get plus 5 AP every time an enemy attacks them when they're taunting them, because that's how kind of a taunt function works with AP gain, so that you're always gaining some AP. So this type of weapon would definitely play into a continuous taunt loop. Of course, if the enemy has attack up when taunted, this type of weapon will help mitigate the effect of that tune, just because you're cutting the attack, of course. Now, this does not stack, but them attacking with almost minus 50% of their attack, and then you're also getting a big defense buff because of the 4th slot on this weapon. Now, this isn't a very typical weapon. Like, I probably wouldn't want to pull on this stash because of this weapon. It's not a game-changing weapon, and it has very limited uses. So like as I said, Cameron Scar would be an example. Maybe another human shield, but we don't have a green human shield that's an S-class. We only have Frost, and he's a blue tune. So I personally would not be pulling on this stash because this weapon is on it, and you know, you have that 1% chance to actually get a 5-star weapon, and I want to make sure that if I'm pulling, I have a decent chance of getting, you know, a weapon that I could use. I just don't foresee myself using Leopo's Sturdy Padule, or however it's said, sorry. Now, the aggressive chainsaw shotgun is definitely a weapon that a lot of people have pulled, and it's actually a pretty good weapon. I think it has a lot of uses. It already has your normal double attack, it has plus 30% attack, you would need a huge bonus to AP when attacking. You could leave the 4th slot, because if you're using this weapon on a tune like Priya, who does multiple attacks on their rush and they're considered basic attacks, it's kind of nice to ignore defensive buffs. But you could also try to put Rampage on the 4th slot. You'd have to add a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and you'd only get up to 35% attack, which isn't great considering other weapons you can get up to 45% attack, and you can get the better double attack version. So if I were to pull this weapon, I would probably just keep it as it is, get up to 40% attack, and add a huge bonus to AP when attacking. The cases where Rampage wouldn't be as effective is when Camo finally comes out and is really a forefront in the meta. Right now it's barely noticeable, so I would just stick with Rampage. Now, the last weapon that's a 5-star weapon is Mia's Violent Pistol, and it's actually a decent weapon. I mainly like it because it has the team player ability on the 4th slot, and team player because it stacks, since it acts as a leadership skill, meaning it's applied before the match actually starts, so it doesn't overwrite other in-game buffs that occur to your attack. I think it's a really effective weapon that way. The 30% attack, a medium bonus to AP when attacking. The 3rd slot I'm not a huge fan of. Just random AP and attack randomly increased by 20%. Like, it's not consistent, which makes it very difficult to control. Now, if you were using all straight out attackers, this weapon would be awesome because any tune on your team would benefit from this. But if you have a defensive tune on your attack team, like a Dr. Stevens or a Human Shield or a command tune, if that bonus ends up going to them, it would kind of be a waste. So I would at least consider changing the 3rd weapon slot on this weapon for maybe splash damage as an example. You could also make it a very defensive weapon if you wanted to, but because it's designed as an attacking weapon with that plus 30% attack, I would kind of keep going with that. You could go with Splash, as I mentioned. You could go with a huge bonus to AP when attacking, and then plus 35% attack. So that would make this weapon more effective. Anyway, you only have like a 1% chance at getting these weapons, but I think it's just important to understand what you could get, and if you do happen to pull it, how you could end up using it. Anyway, thank you everyone for watching and listening to my video.